We're calling for the public hearing for April the 9th, 2018 on the tentative budget.
Remember, you guys can make changes beyond that, April 9th.
Okay.
You can make them all the way up till May 1st.
Okay.
Hiring of Jody Benson, as needed basis.
Okay, she's just coming back to do, Jennifer's on vacation, so we need
Okay.
somebody to do their payroll. So she's just coming in to do payroll and the gas report. So it probably shouldn't be any more than 4 or 5 hours
Okay.
of time.
Thank
She's
you.
done this before.
Yeah, oh yeah, Jody was the one that was in that position before Jennifer got it, so.
Thanks.
And then we have the tax cap override, call for public hearing.
And
We'll have to do
that's
that.
just a precaution, okay? In case you have to, after you review the budget, because it's a local law, so therefore you need a lot of time to schedule the public hearing and all of that stuff that goes into it, so.
Just rescind it after.
Exactly, and then we won't take any action on it. It's basically what you do and just let it expire,
Okay.
so.
All right. And then to authorize me to sign the contract, New York State Main Street grant for Ted Sharon's project. Have that, good. All right, so today is the day I am going to present my tentative budget. And here we go. Good evening. Tonight, I am pleased to present to the Board of Trustees and the people of the Village of Fredonia the tentative budget for the year 2018-2019. In creating this budget, once again, I took under consideration our current financial situation, department needs as outlined by the respective heads, discussions with members of the board, and with the administrator. As you know, the village budget has 3 separate funds: the general, the water, and the sewer fund. The general fund includes everyone in the village government and administration, police and fire protection, the TPW, code enforcement, courts, parks and recreation, and cable TV. Main source of revenue for the general fund is our property taxes. The water fund has to do with water purification and distribution and gets its revenue from the water rate money, while the sewer rate goes towards the sewer fund. These funds are not interchangeable in any way. This year's combined budget stands at $10,430,189, which represent a 3.9% increase over last year's budget. Out of this amount, $6,641,300 corresponds to the general fund, $1,769,189 to the water fund, and $2,019,027 to the sewer fund. I agonized over raising taxes this year. If not, it will be the 3rd year of my administration when the tax rate remains unchanged. Our expenses keep increasing, while our revenue, our income, has been steadily declining. I am acutely aware of the fact that while our taxes are high, our services are not where they are supposed to be. Let me make myself clear. I am not referring to the quality of services that our workers, our police officers, our firefighters, operators, and inspectors provide, but rather to the fact that some take more time to be delivered than expected. Through actions taken by previous boards, the numbers of employees shrunk. Although those actions were understandable, they were inefficient in the end. I can assure you that each and every department is from moderately to severely understaffed. That's not only frustrating, it's expensive. It costs the village in overtime, reduced productivity and income, increased stress, and declining morale among the employees. Last year, for example, we spent more than $250,000 in overtime, while we lost money on fire inspections that were not performed on time and code enforcement violations that went unnoticed. In this year's budget, I'm attempting to start fixing the problem by adding 3 full-time and 4 part-time employees, including benefits. That's a 4% increase to the personnel line of the combined budget. Having done that, although not reflected on tonight's budget, I do expect that the overtime will be decreased substantially. However, an insufficient number of employees is only part of the challenges we face. All the equipment, trucks and tractors and ambulances that have been exceeded their expected service life, projects that remain stagnant for lack of both. Although I have included some of that equipment in my budget, tonight I am proposing reaching out to the City of Dunkirk to see if there is an opportunity to buy some of those together. I also would like to discuss the possibility of having a garage to share with the city and the 2 towns where to house heavy equipment and perform work on cars and machinery instead of having to ship them to another location. I know the Mayor Rosas have proposed something similar last year. I believe this is a good time to do so. Then the big or not so big projects that we need to complete. Fixing the fire hall, repairing the front steps of the village hall, correcting drainage in parts of the village, installing some new storm sewers, mending streets, addressing I&I. Finally, the really large projects that we are about to start working on. Those projects would not have been possible without the very generous help from the state. Last year, we were fortunate to be awarded 3 large grants: $931,031 for upgrades at the water purification plant, $1,192,040 for upgrades at the wastewater treatment plant, and $450,000 for interior and exterior renovations of the historic car seat building. At the same time, we have secured a 0% loan in the amount of $1.6 million to address the colored water that some of our citizens have had for years now. Also, we finally will start working on the Barker Common project using the $315,000 grant we received the previous year. I haven't forgotten our police department's needs. Although I've tried, I wasn't able to find the money for an extra police officer to be part of the county's drug task force. This is a need that has to be addressed, especially with the very real drug problem we are facing in the village and the large young population we have. Before I finish, I'd like to share with you some general thoughts regarding the budget. As I mentioned at the beginning, all revenue to run this village comes from our citizens. Our property taxes, our water rate, our sewer rate. We also get some of the sales tax that we produce, although not nearly enough, as well as some support from the state. Allow me to elaborate on the latter a bit. Years ago, the state of New York, in an effort to keep taxes under control, established the 2% cap and a program called AIM. AIM is Aid and Incentives to Municipalities, was created to cover up for legitimate expenses so municipalities would not have to raise taxes. Without going into details as to who gets how much and how, I can say that this is a program where the money is distributed without a specific formula, and the only factor that seems to influence that distribution is designation. AIM has an annual budget of $715 million. Cities get 90% of this money, irrespective of population. Towns and villages get the rest. Smaller cities get between $100 and $150 per capita. The city of Dunkirk, for example, gets $127 per capita. Villages, of course, get much less. Let's take our village, for example. We're very comparable to the city in square mileage, population, services that we provide, even poverty level. And we host a state university. We get $7.90 per capita. This isn't fair. It doesn't make sense. It turns municipalities against each other by creating not only favorites, but indeed winners and losers. And at the end, instead of easing the tax burden on some of the poorest citizens, it does the opposite. I mentioned before that I agonized over raising taxes this year, and at the end, I did not. I shouldn't have to. If the state, instead of giving us $7.90 per person, treating us like second-class citizens, gives us $100 per person, still lower than cities, instead of agonizing over raising taxes, I would be able to lower taxes by 15 to 20%. I'm very, very thankful for the help and support that Governor Cuomo, Senator Young, and Assemblyman Goodell have given us so we can fix our failing infrastructure and beautify our downtown to make the village more attractive to new businesses and young families. However, recognizing that nothing is as attractive as low taxes for new businesses and growth, tonight I am asking Governor Cuomo and the legislature to please revisit the issue and give us an advantage that we deserve. The economic impact in the area will be tremendous, I promise. Or make Fredonia a city. Thank you. So that's that. And something much less dramatic, we have the fire department report for February 2018. That's about it. Now I have 45 minutes to do nothing.
No.
Oh, we can go straight.
We can go right into the meeting.
Okay.
It's scheduled to follow the workshop.
Excellent.
So we can go right into it.
Okay. Well, please rise. I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening again. I call this special meeting to order. A special meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia, duly called and held on the 19th day of March 2018 at 6:45 in the Trustees' Room, second floor, Village Hall, Fredonia, New York, and public notice of the time and place of this meeting has been given to the news media and conspicuously posted in one or more designated public locations in accordance with Section 104 of the Open Meetings Law.
Whereas notice of this meeting was given to the Board of Trustees and the news media as required by law, now therefore be it resolved that a special meeting of this Board of Trustees be held at this time and place to consider any business that may come before this Board.
I second.
Trustee Barnes.
Aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Bridge.
Yes.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
We have one report tonight. That's the fire department report for the month of February. They had a grand total of 188 calls, of which 146 were rescue and EMS, 22 false alarms and false calls, 15 good intent, 3 fires, and 2 service calls. And that's it for reports.
Thank you. We open the public portion. Anybody from the public wants to have a question, have a comment, request, or suggestion? And,
I do.
oh, by all means,
Just curious.
can you please stand up and say your name?
Oh, my name's Michelle Joy, and I have a shop on Main Street, and the sidewalks are horrendous.
Okay.
You cannot, my customers, I have people bringing in boxes of clothing, they bring in furniture, and as a matter of fact, today I brought in a table, and I had to climb over a huge mountain of snow to get it in.
Yes. We
It's
are
been 2 weeks since the storm.
we are getting there, and I regret the fact that the chief of the department is not here. But we are getting there. I do understand that. Thank you. I will make a note.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Let's go to resolutions.
Whereas pursuant to Section 5-5083 of the New York State Village Law, a public hearing must be held on the tentative budget for the village fiscal year commencing June 1st, 2018, with notice of such public hearing published in the official newspaper, The Observer. Now therefore be it resolved that the Village Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia hereby schedules a public hearing on the 9th day of April 2018 at 7:30 p.m. at the Trustees Room, 2nd floor, Village Hall, 9 to 11 Church Street, Fredonia, New York, to receive comments on the 2018 fiscal year tentative budget, which is now on file at the office of the Village Clerk of the Village of Fredonia, and be it further resolved that the Village Clerk is hereby directed to publish notice of said hearing pursuant to village law.
Second that.
Trustee Barris.
Aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Bridge.
Yes.
Trustee Essek.
Yes. Be it resolved that Jody Benson is hired to work at the Department of Public Works on an as-needed basis by the village administrator at a rate of $20.38 per hour with no other benefits.
I second that.
Trustee Barris.
Aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Bridge.
Yes.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
Okay.
Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia desires to override the property tax cap if the village board determines it necessary to do so to adopt a proper and sustainable budget for the Village of Fredonia for its coming fiscal year commencing on June 1st, 2018, which tax cap is set forth in, how do you say that? Section of the General Municipal Law. And whereas proposed local law number 1 of 2018 of the Village of Fredonia in its final form is now upon the desk of the members of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia, which is entitled a local law authorizing a property tax levy in excess of the limit established in general municipal law for the village fiscal year commencing on June 1st, 2018. Whereas said proposed local law reads as follows, and anyone can jump in at any time. This is where I take a breath. Section 1, title. This local law shall entitle a local law authorizing a property tax levy in excess of the limited established in general municipal law for the village fiscal year commencing on June 1st, 2018. Section 2, legislative intent. It is the intent of this local law to allow the Village of Fredonia to adopt a budget for the fiscal year commencing on June 1st, 2018 that requires the real property tax levy in excess of tax levy limit as defined by the general municipal law. Section 3, authority. This local law is adapt pursuant to subdivision 5 of the general municipal law, which expressly authorizes a local government's governing body to override the property tax cap for the coming fiscal year by the adoption of the local law provided by a vote of 60% of said government body. Section 4, tax levy limit override. The Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia, County of Chautauqua, is hereby authorized to adopt a budget for the fiscal year commencing June 1st, 2018 that requires a real property tax levy in excess of the amount otherwise prescribed in general municipal law. Section 5. You want to jump in?
Severability.
Thank you. Severability. If a court determines that any cause, sentence, paragraph, subdivision, or part of this local law, or the application, therefore, to any person, firm, or corporation, or circumstance, is invalid or unconstitutional, the court order or judgment shall not affect, impair, or invalidate the remainder of the local law, but shall be confined in its operation to the clause, sentence, paragraph, subdivision of part of the local law, or in its application to the person, individual, firm, or corporation, or circumstance directly involved in the controversy in which such judgment or order shall be rendered. Whew. Deep breath. Effective date, Section 6. This local law shall take effect immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State of the State of New York. Now, therefore, be it resolved that a public hearing be held before this Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia on the 9th day of April 2018 at 7:30 p.m. in the Trustees Room, Village Hall, Fredonia, New York, to consider the question of the enactment of said proposed local law, and be it further resolved that the village clerk is hereby authorized to cause notice to said public hearing on said proposed law to be published in the Observer as required by law. Wow.
I second that.
Trustee Burris.
Aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Briggs.
Yes.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
Whereas the Village of Fredonia is the recipient of a grant in the amount of $450,000 through the New York Homes and Community Renewals New York Main Street Program, and whereas this grant will be used to assist with the renovation of 50 West Main Street in the village, and whereas such renovations have been found to be in the best interest of the village, and whereas this grant requires the village to execute an agreement with the Housing Trust Fund Corporation, and whereas this grant also requires the village to enter into subsequent agreements with the owner of the assisted property. Now therefore be it resolved that the Village Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia hereby authorizes and directs the mayor to execute any and all agreements required by this grant.
I second.
Trustee Burris.
Aye.
Trustee Christina.
Yes.
Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Briggs.
Yes.
Trustee Essek.
Yes.
And that's it, right? The only thing I wanted to, I forgot before, do we need any?
Discuss that when you want to
Possibility to
start.
have some additional meetings to review the budget, a little more time if we, would you be interested in?
Absolutely, I was thinking like twice a week. Maybe like, could we start this?
Thursday.
3:31, which I think would be either this Wednesday or Thursday, and then do,
These would be just workshops, correct?
these would be budget,
Yeah, they're
budget
strictly
workshops.
budget. Yep.
And then do like the workshop session before the meeting.
It's not 3:31 yet. That's 21st.
I'm sorry, 3:21. 3:21, which would be,
Wednesday?
It's a Wednesday.
it's a Wednesday, so this Wednesday start, our first, at whatever time, and then do like 3:26, which would be the following Monday, I believe.
We can start those early. We could do 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, whenever the board wants to do them.
No problem, fine. So we can go home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm thinking this Wednesday,
Is Wednesday okay for all of you?
Not for me, I'm not.
Okay, what day is it good for you?
I'm not available any day this week. And then
okay,
I'm going out of town.
what about next week, Monday
Or
before?
the rest of the board can review.
Yeah, everybody else can meet.
Yeah, we don't have to cancel
Okay.
it.
Just
like,
because I can't
so-
meet, I can do it at home and
I
then
mean, if you got 4
email
board
people.
members
Sure.
that are able to attend that, it's
Okay.
okay.
So like, yeah, I was thinking like that, the 26th before, and then the 28th, which would be a Wednesday, so it'd be like Monday, Wednesday of each week.
Is that okay
Going
for the rest of
forward.
the
I'm not
time?
gonna be
Or,
here.
You
But
won't
if
be-
everybody else can be here, that's fine. I'll be out of town.
So you want to do this, you said this Wednesday?
is that possible? Is that, are you?
I'm available.
What time would you be available over to present?
Yeah, like I said, you could do 4, 5
She can come
o'clock.
with 4 o'clock, it'll be fine.
4
I
o'clock
can't
if
do
you're
4 o'clock on
available.
Wednesday. I can't do 4 o'clock on Wednesday. Wednesday would have to be,
Later on,
at
5, 6?
5:30 or later.
How about Thursday? Can you do it Thursday?
Thursday, I won't work.
What about Wednesday at 6? Do this Wednesday at 6, would that be?
Yeah.
Wednesday at 6.
Yeah.
This
Everybody's
Wednesday, the
available, 6
21st at
o'clock.
6?
And then moving forward,
This Wednesday, the 21st at 6?
that's correct?
Okay.
And then the
Everybody
following Monday,
available?
Mhm.
Following Monday.
come in early before the workshop, 6:30, 5 o'clock? 5 o'clock maybe on the 26th?
I think 5 o'clock works. And then Wednesday, the 28th,
All right, will you be available at 5?
I would. Would anyone
Yes.
else? Would you be here that?
Roger.
No.
Diana
Yep.
can do that
I'll
one
be,
too?
I'm out. I'm out of here.
Okay.
Gone.
So what are we saying on the 26th?
But I
What
will,
time?
I can
Five.
look it over and I can email.
5 on the
people and they can
26th,
email me
5 on the
whatever.
28th. That moves us to the month of April.
And then we have Monday.
And then
Well,
we
if you guys
can,
wanna
then we
wait
can
for
come back
that, or
and
you
we'll see
wanna-
what's
You want
going
to do
on.
them all the way out?
You want to wait? to
I don't-
finish
I
this
don't know.
month
Those
here?
Up to the
three were
board.
fine. I think we have to, let's do those three, see where we are.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. then.
Okay. You
What
okay
did
with
you say
that
on the
then?
28th, at 5
Yeah,
o'clock?
5.
Yes.
Yeah, they're both at 5.
Okay.
6 and 28.
So this Wednesday at 6, next Monday at 5, and next Wednesday at 5.
These are all again strictly budget review.
Yeah. When you coming back?
Maybe never. And I'll be here on the 9th. I'll be
Second-
back for the meeting
second
on the
option.
9th. Keeping my options open.
Okay.
Well, even at that time, we could still have 4 more budget
Right.
reviews sections if we needed.
Right.
Mhm.
we've got
So that's-
plenty of time.
Right.
All right.
I mean,
Yep.
it's just nice to get the extra in,
Mhm.
just to
Yeah,
Absolutely.
last year we had 3. I think we need to have more than 3, so this is super.
Will these workshops be published and open to the public?
Yes.
Yep, they're open meetings. We're more than 2 trustees here.
All right. So can I have a motion for adjournment?
I move to adjourn.
I'll second.
Trustee Barris?
Aye.
Trustee Christina?
Yes.
Trustee Linden?
Aye.
Trustee Briggs?
Yes.
Trustee Essek?
Yes.
Thank you very much for coming.